Hello, this is John Genet. It is the 3rd of May, 2014, here in the Florida Keys. I'm getting out several videos today. I've got one out on vaccinations and hyperactivity. I'm also going to talk now about the importance of a gluten-free, casein-free, sugar-free diet. 9 out of every 10 children who suffer from autism are boys. Right? The main culprit is the male hormone testosterone, if I can say that correctly. Uh, and when the boy moves into puberty, right, they put on body weight, the testosterone kicks in, they become aggressive towards females, right? To help balance that chemical reaction, we suggest moving the child into a gluten-free, sugar-free, casein-free diet. Right? Casein is the main enzyme in milk. It's also what makes glue sticky. When you combine food products with milk, the milk coats the food, and it becomes this sticky substance inside the stomach. It coats the stomach wall with a sticky-like substance. The stomach cannot absorb nutrients through the stomach wall. Food particles stick to the stomach and they begin to rot or ferment. If they rot, they create a toxic chemical. If they ferment, they create alcohol. Think of potato and vodka, right? And the digestive juices cannot break these substances down because they're stuck on the stomach wall and they're rotting or fermenting. So after about a 12-hour period, the stomach moves through a peristaltic action that shoves all of this toxic waste into the small intestine, right? And this toxic waste builds up, right? And eventually eats a hole in the bottom of the small intestinal wall. And this toxic waste drips into the blood, which moves through the organs, which causes a lot of chemical reactions inside of the body. Autistic children are notorious for leaky gut syndrome, but a lot of humans experience leaky gut syndrome, and it's reflected in mental, physical, and emotional disorder. So it's a very important thing to address, right? Let's take gluten, which is wheat. Gluten is glue. When you eat wheat particles like certain breads, cookies, gravies, different products that have gluten in them to create a consistency within the food, to be able to keep the particles tighter together so you can bake them, stuff like that. When they are digested, moving to the stomach, they coat the food with gluten or this glue-like substance with the same response as dairy products. It coats the food with this glue-like substance. The particles stick to the stomach lining. They seal off the ability to absorb nutrients through the stomach wall. The food rots and ferments. It's shoved down into the small intestine, and it also, within a short period of time, creates a hole in the small intestinal wall and creates leaky gut syndrome. Sugar. Sugar is like pouring gasoline on a fire as it relates to autistic children. It also has that effect on humans that don't suffer from autism. But autistic children are really susceptible to this, right? The problem is that sugar is addictive, right? We have it in a lot of different food particles. We have it in our drinks. We have it in our natural drinks like apple juice, stuff like that. The label says it's 10% apple juice, but it's 90% sugar water. So we have to be really careful on the type of food that we subject children with autism to. Right? Look at the label. It'll have fructose, syrup. It will have sugar particles. Check the label and see what it is. Right? Try to eliminate them as much as you possibly can. With the onset of diabetes throughout the United States, every grocery store has a diabetic section that has foods uh, that are not manufactured with sugar, right? They have substitutes, which you can introduce your child to over a short period of time. Do it a little bit at a time. It's just like doing anything. You're off a little bit of time, get them used to it, move it on to the next part until they're fully integrated into um, having the freedom from sugar. Right now, their ByoNetics uh, offers a gluten-free, casein-free, sugar-free cookbook. Right, uh, it was created by a parent of ours. Her son was about 11 and a half years old. Uh, every day as school was ending, he would be subjected to the teacher's revenge. The teacher's revenge is having uh, some type of cookies and fruit juice, which raises the sugar level of the child, makes them hyper, and then they give them to the parents. It's called the teacher's revenge. Well, in autistic children, they can go off the grid if they have that kind of sugar. So she uh, went to 2 years of culinary school. She created this gluten-free, sugar-free, casein-free cookbook. She has recipes for chocolate chip cookies. She has recipes for chicken McNuggets. She has recipes that a child will recognize and relate to from its peers eating it and want to have it themselves. And if you're any type of a simple cook like I am, these recipes are fairly straightforward. You can buy it off of Amazon. Contact us for the link to that. I think she charges about $19.95 for the book. You can download it for about half that price. And it is a good addition to your tools that you treat autism with. And don't get to the point, the best time to offer this is when the child is young, right? 1, 2, 3 years old. By the time the child gets 5, they've basically set on what they like and what they don't dislike. And they have the personality to fight for it and raise enough hell to where the parent will succumb and go ahead and give them that sugar so the child will just stop uh, what they're doing right now so the parent can be free of that energy. Right? So don't subject yourself to that. Get the child on it as soon as you possibly can, because if it's a boy, by the time he gets to 9 years old, that's when puberty sticks in, right? And if he's not on a gluten-free, casein-free, sugar-free diet, right, with those inside chemicals being neutralized to the point that they're not going to have as much of a negative effect as if they uh, uh, were out of balance, then you're going to have a lot of problems. I have parents who call me. Um, their son goes to school, right? He's be able to manage in school. He's be able to be, held down by the teacher and their aides. But when he comes home, right, uh, and he begins to be free of this uh, jurisdiction from the parents, from the teachers, if you will, then he begins to unload all of this energy. Right? And he does it to the parent, especially mom, because she's usually the one that's there, right? I've had parents call me, moms call me, their children chase them around the kitchen with a butcher knife, right? So it can get very severe in a short period of time. And the best way to address that was a casein-free, sugar-free, gluten-free diet, right? We also know, just as a side note, that gluten um, retards the ability of the brain to process information, right? It's one of those chemical compounds that reduces the ability of the brain to process information. So to enhance the ability to mentally focus, right, you need to get that child off of gluten. off of dairy, off of sugar. Okay. Uh, Thank you very much for your time today. If you need to talk to me, it's 1-800-280-2802. Stay up on the internet, stay up on our Facebook page, and I'll be able to be in touch with you the next time I make a video. Thanks so much. Bye.